Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video presentation, our group will present about the Sustainable Palm Oil Certification (MSPO) and RSPO, evaluate effectiveness in reducing environmental harm. So, I will pass to the next presenter to present about introduction part.
Assalamualaikum, and today I would like to present the introduction. Malaysia is one of the world's top producer and exporter of Malaysian palm oil, ranking as the second largest producer after Indonesia. This highlights the importance of palm oil to Malaysian agriculture sector and economy. Oil palm is considered as important commodity crop because it contributes significantly to Malaysia economy through the income generation, international trade, and economic development. The increasing demand for palm oil has expanded its role in various industries, palm such as the food, cosmetic, pharmaceutical, and biofuel industry. The oil palm industry support many sectors such as plantation activity, processing company, transportation, services, research institution, and downstream manufacturing. It also provides employment opportunity and support the economic growth. However, the rapid expansion of oil palm plantation has caused environmental concern. To address this issue, sustainability certification such as MSPO and RSPO were introduced to promote the responsible palm oil production. For the background of MSPO and RSPO, I will explain first for the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil Certification, also known as MSPO. MSPO is a Malaysian National Sustainability Certification Scheme. It was introduced in 2013 to improve the sustainability image of the palm oil industry and encourage responsible practices throughout the supply chain. MSPO focus on environmental protection, social responsibility, sustainable plantation management, and supply chain traceability. Supply chain traceability allow palm oil product to be tracked from plantation to final product, ensuring greater accountability and transparency. The role of MSPO is to promote sustainable agriculture practices. It also enhances transparency throughout editing and monitoring. It also supports the participation of smallholder in certified production, allow more producers to adopt sustainable practices. Another important certification system is the Roundtable on Sustainable Palm Oil, or also known as RSPO. RSPO is a global voluntary certification established in 2004. It was developed by WWF and multiple stakeholders to promote sustainable palm oil worldwide. RSPO focus on the protection of high conservation value HCV area. This area contain important ecological, environmental, or social value that need to be protected. RSPO also focus on the prevention of deforestation and the reduction of greenhouse gas emission. The role of RSPO is to promote certified sustainable palm oil SCPO. It also aims to reduce the environmental impact associated with the palm oil production. Throughout this requirement, RSPO encourage producers to adopt internationally recognized sustainable standards and improve the environmental performance in oil palm industry. Despite the economic importance of oil palm industry, the palm oil industry also faces several environmental issues. The first issue is deforestation. Expansion of oil palm cultivation requires large area of land, causing forest conversion into agricultural area. This can destroy natural ecosystem, change land use pattern, and contribute to carbon release into the atmosphere. The second issue is biodiversity loss. Forest conversion into monoculture plantation reduce the habitat complexity. As a result, wildlife species such as orangutan, pygmy, elephant, and tropical birds face increasing threat due to the habitat loss. The third issue is greenhouse gas emission. Oil palm activity contribute to greenhouse gas emission through land clearing, methane conversion, fertilizer usage, and palm oil activities. This activity will release the gas that contribute to global warming and climate change. The fourth issue is soil degradation. Continuous monoculture planting, heavy machinery use, and erosion can reduce the soil quality. Poor soil condition may decrease crop production and increase dependence on chemical input. Next, I would like to pass it to the next presenter.
Moving into the next topic, the true environmental effectiveness of MSPO and RSPO relies heavily on their capacity to drive field change at the field level. Our evaluation systematically assesses 5 major environmental pillars, which is deforestation, biodiversity protection, water pollution, greenhouse gas emission, and soil conservation. Looking at our first pillar, deforestation remains the most critical metric. Historically, RSPO set the global standard with its strict no deforestation, no pit, no expansion policies using high conservation value and high carbon stock technique to block primary and secondary forest clearing. However, because RSPO is voluntary, it only captures about 20% of the global output, leaving uncertified oil to continue drive land conservation. Next slide. To evaluate if this policy works, we must examine the data trend from 21 to 2025. Permanent agriculture stands out as the primary cause of permanent deforestation, claiming a staggering 7.2 million hectares. This loss is almost exclusively linked to the explosive growth of Malaysian oil palm plantation during the early 20s. Between 2009 and 2016, the data show highly erratic and high rates of forest loss, with annual peak routinely sparking above 600 kilo hectare. However, looking at the 2020 to 2025 block, we see a highly significant visual turnaround, which tree cover loss declined sharply and steadily, settling at its lowest level in 20 years. Our third slide look at the biodiversity and greenhouse gas emission, converting which dipterocarp forest into monoculture has caused critical habitat fragmentation, directly threatening endangered megafauna like Borneo orangutan and Malayan tiger. To preserve high conservation value area, RSPO require producers to protect natural riparian reserve and wildlife corridor. Meanwhile, MSPO 2.0 has made HCV assessment mandatory for a new development and actively fund wildlife corridor through the MPOGCF. However, a major corporate limitation is a certified estate often become an isolation island to protect within uncertified land, creating a patchwork grid that disrupts ecological. To systematically cut emission, RSPO track carbon via the mandatory PALM GHG tools that completely ban new planting on peat. Furthermore, treating raw POME in an open lagoon releases massive amount of methane. RSPO aggressively push for methane trap, which align perfectly with MSPO 2.0 by using national green funding and SIDA fit in tariff quota. Over 170 Malaysian mills have operationalized biogas collection system. This industrial shift and individual mills localize scope 1 carbon footprint by up to 90%. Biologically, grower must plant cover crop like Mucuna radiata to anchor the soil matrix with a deep root and natural fixed nitrogen. To conclude my portion, this section addresses critical structural limitation. First, independent smallholder manage 40% or nearly 6 million hectares of Malaysian oil palm land. Yet, face high financial and administrative gap, the cost of buying personal protective equipment, building chemical storage, and handling audit frequently overwhelm the rural farmer. Smallholder also lack the drone or GIS infrastructure required to supply precise polygon mapping, risking supply chain exclusion. This ties into the geopolitical friction of the EUDR dilemma. International bodies do not automatically recognize MSPO or RSPO certificate. Finally, both systems suffer from a snapshot audit limitation only to revert to a high impact infraction once auditor depart. I will pass to our next presenter.
My name is Edidi Zulkarnain Mizani, and I will present the strategic recommendation to improve the implementation of sustainability palm oil certification and also address the challenges faced by the industry. First, under mitigation, smallholder barrier and also technical gaps, many smallholder farmers struggle with a high cost and also technical requirement of certification. To address this issue, a share funding and also subsidy system should be established through cooperation between the government and also large palm oil companies. Certification costs and necessary equipment can be particularly funded, making compliance more affordable for smallholder. Other than that, recommendation is the development of a simple land mapping application by the Malaysian Palm Oil Board (MPOB). This application would allow farmers to map their land using smartphone and also generate accurate data required by international standard. A user-friendly design is important to ensure accessibility for all farmers, including those with limited digital skill. Second, to resolve geopolitical friction and also regulatory mismatches, Malaysia should work with European Union and also the RSPO to align deforestation-related standards. This will reduce the complexity of complying with multiple requirements and make international traders smoother. At the same time, Malaysia should continue engaging diplomatic discussion with European Union to gain recognition of its own sustainable standard. This can help reduce unnecessary audits and also lower compliance costs for producers. Finally, to overcome auditing vulnerabilities, certification bodies should adopt continuous monitoring method using remote sensing technology rather than rely solely on one-time audits. It will improve transparency and also ensure ongoing compliance. In addition, anonymous reporting channels should be introduced to allow workers and local communities to report any violation. This recommendation focuses on supporting smallholder, improving international cooperation, and also strengthening monitoring system to enhance the sustainable and also credibility of Malaysian palm oil industry. In conclusion, MSPO and RSPO certification play a vital role in promoting a more sustainable oil palm industry. This certification helps reduce environmental impact by preventing deforestation, protecting biodiversity, and also encouraging responsible plantation management. However, challenges still remain, especially for smallholders who face high certification costs and also technical requirements. Different in international regulation and also weakness in auditing system also affect the effectiveness of this certification. Therefore, stronger support for smallholder, better alignment of international standard, and the use of continuous monitoring technologies are important to improve certification effectiveness. With greater collaboration among government, industry stakeholders, and also certification bodies, MSPO and RSPO can continue to strengthen the sustainability and global competitiveness of Malaysian palm oil industry.